Chuck, I deeply appreciate your mentioning my books. I desperately need the revenues, and I appreciate that. You know, if you're pompous enough and self-absorbed enough to be a businessman writing books, you've got to expect to be needled in some pretty harsh ways on occasion. And one of my favorite roasters is Ted Sorensen, who said about one of my books, "Once you put it down, you will not be able to pick it up." I had written a book on global aging called The Gray Dawn. He decided to rename it The Gray Yawn. And he said on the last occasion, "We're here tonight to anoint Peterson into sainthood." He said, "When I think of him, I think of St. Paul," he said, "the dullest town in America." Now, Charlie Cobb often reminds you and me that I am the longest-serving trustee, 37 years and still counting. Charlie, I suppose that's a kinder and gentler way of saying I'm also the oldest member in the group. It is such an honor to introduce A.G. Lafley, who's not only a great businessman, but a true statesman. That's all too rare a combination these days. Over many years at P&G, he successfully demonstrated that a rising tide lifts all shareholders. I thought that was a pretty good pun, but apparently it wasn't. I take it you all know that Tide is one of the namesakes. So why don't I do it again? Since AG took the CEO job, the stock has risen 5 times as fast as the S&P 500. This award recognizes business executives who champion issues that are in the best interest of the public good. It's part of the CED's overall initiative to engage corporate executives and to encourage the young up-and-coming business executives to become active on key policy issues. AG has made selfless and thoughtful choices as a business leader. Under his leadership, Procter & Gamble has directly linked opportunity with responsibility, which has fostered a strong internal culture of doing the right thing. I told AG a little earlier when I last heard him speak, he said something that impressed me a great deal. There are many of us in business who talk about how consumer-friendly we are. And yet when we use their products, we sometimes find we have packages you can't open and other assorted and fairly obvious problems. I asked AG, what did he normally do when he traveled abroad, or in this country for that matter? And he said he always liked to spend a day or two visiting with consumers in their own homes and watching them use the various product categories that P&G is in. And I wonder how many CEOs have that capacity. And I look at Dean here, whom I've known for many years. I think you'd agree with me that often in the innovative process, you have to invent the problem first. You have to invent the question. You have to invent the thing that needs to be invented. And often you get that insight by understanding the consumer. But P&G's commitment to social responsibility runs deep. Overall pillars of this effort have included environmental protection, economic development, and social responsibility. Some of their specific programs include something called Caring for Communities. Also, Live, Learn, and Thrive, devoted to improve the life of children in need. As to environmental concerns and safety, they're working to be eco-efficient by reducing non-hazardous waste, cutting greenhouse gas emissions, and cutting the company's water consumption. P&G has also participated in certified green coffee programs, working with farmers all around the entire globe. So we salute tonight A&G's business leadership, but also his steadfast dedication to being a true business statesman. I'd like to invite Jim Quigley to join me in presenting the award to AG. Jim is the global chairman of Deloitte, where for the past 30 years he has provided stellar guidance. Jim, could you join me and make this presentation?
I've got just a few words I'm going to add to your introduction, if that's okay. Let me just add just a few words myself to, before we get AG up here, to recognize him in the way that we should. Pete, thank you very much. And I'm certain.
Award to AG. Jim is the global chairman of Deloitte, where for the past 30 years he has provided stellar guidance. Jim, could you join me and make this presentation?
I've got just a few words I'm going to add to your introduction, if that's okay. Let me just add just a few words myself to, before we get AG up here, to recognize him in the way that we should. Pete, thank you very much. And I'm certainly proud to be able to spend a few minutes with you tonight. AG is a proud product of a liberal arts education, and he identifies himself with great pride as an alum of Hamilton College. CEOs, I will tell you, are all challenged to clearly and consistently articulate a purpose, values, and principles that drive their organization, and I don't think anyone does this better or in fewer words than AG. He has no peer here. His accomplishments as a business leader are well documented. He's an innovation icon. The growth in shareholder value creation at P&G under his leadership that Pete just referred to puts him in a very small club of CEOs who, in their tenure, created more than $100 billion of shareholder value. As a business executive, he's energetic, he's focused on excellence, and he tirelessly works to develop the capabilities of his team. He's comfortable everywhere you find him, and he's also very focused, whether he's speaking to a large group of CEOs, whether he's in his boardroom, or whether you're enjoying a simple lunch with him in his conference room, or if he's meeting with customers in a favela in São Paulo, Brazil, driving his security people crazy, I'm sure, but still, nevertheless, connected with his customers. But he's more than an iconic business leader. AG is clearly a statesman in every sense of that title, and he's an inspiration to all of us. As a statesman, he enjoys energetic and loyal followership of everyone at P&G as they work collectively to improve people's lives with branded products. As a statesman, he's committed to sustainability, to giving back to his communities, and he has brought his personal leadership and commitment to renewing the core of downtown Cincinnati in meeting some very aggressive goals as the chairman of this year's United Way campaign. And his commitment also radiates throughout the world as he works to bring safe water to many who do not have that privilege today. I've seen him in action as a business leader, as the CEO at P&G, and as a compassionate and visionary leader in the broader community. And I've also been his student when I asked for insights on innovation and how you make that sustainable and how you drive that process and make it part of a culture. And in addition, just one final element of AG, he's also a proud father and grandfather. And for any of you that had the privilege of being at P&G's recent annual shareholders meeting, when AG was working to resolve the meeting, one more individual headed to the microphone, and it happened to be his son. And then his son, with a voice somewhat choked with emotion, paid tribute to his dad for his leadership, for the tireless hours that he had provided, and then said, these are regular guys that get up, regular men and women who go to work every day and work with passion to make a difference. And then AG resolved the meeting was resolved as his son said, thank you, Dad, and good job. And I'm sure that's the highest compliment that AG has ever received, and probably one that probably means more to him than anything else. So this man with many dimensions, and clearly a statesman in every sense of the word, AG, please.